Hi, it's Amy and Tim coming at you from Go With Less. Today we are at Denver International Airport and we're flying to Temecula, California. We got a really good deal on Frontier Airlines and so off we go. We're just there for 2 nights, 48 hours, and I don't think we're going to do a blog post about this, so I thought we'd do a video instead and let you come along with us on the adventure.
This is our second quickie trip of 2018, so we decided to take this trip for 2 reasons. Number one, we found a fantastic airfare on Frontier. It was only $20 each way per person, and so that's good on multiple fronts. So we get to take a little trip, plus we get to reset our Frontier mileage run. So every 6 months your miles with Frontier expire, and so if you don't take a trip or use your miles in some way, shape, or form within that 6-month window, all your miles go away. So we currently have enough miles to make a round trip, but we haven't found a good redemption, and so we're hanging on to these miles and just trying to keep them active.
Now, a lot of people don't like Frontier Airlines. We do like them. They're based here out of Denver, so there's a lot of flights. But what people often don't like, there's a lot of things they don't like about them, and many of those are very valid. One of those, though, is that you pay for your luggage, you pay for your seat, things like that. Our trick about paying for luggage, so we do tend to take fairly short trips with Frontier, and this one is no exception. Here's something that's kind of tying into something we're trying to improve upon as well, is that, like, what if when you're traveling or really just living. So I only brought the 1 pair of shoes that I'm wearing on this trip. Tim has done this quite a bit, so we will go on a 10-day trip. Tim wears 1 pair of shoes and that's all he has. That is kind of a little extreme for me, and I have never done this before. So I have that what if. What if my shoes get wet? What if my shoe breaks? Something kind of crazy. What if my feet hurt in these shoes? So where it's only 2 nights, this one was a little more easy to try this out with. So let's see how I do with just the 1 pair of shoes. Let's see. Tim makes it work.
Yeah, I do, and I'm going to circle back to the Frontier sort of trip tips. So one of the things also, whenever you ask for a seat, if you want a specific seat, you want to sit next to your friend or something like that on Frontier, they charge you for reserving a seat. Even if it's in the back of the plane, if you want to reserve that seat, they charge you. Amy and I never pay to have reserved seats, and so
we let them assign them to us when we check in.
Seats. Always, and so we've probably been on, in the last few years, I don't know, 20 Frontier flights. We've never asked for a seat. We're always seated together when we check in, even though we say we don't want seats together, or we don't want seats assigned. And so, as a matter of fact, on this trip we have something unique in that usually we're further back in the plane. We happen to be in the 4th row on this flight today, seated not right next to each other.
Yeah. So nice, that's pretty sweet. Here's another thing. So I book our travel. Tim earns our points and I book our points. We do have a lot of points, but I'm really careful about spending those. I'm just as careful about that as we are with spending money with real cash. So we've been to LA a lot. One of the cities we've been to more than anywhere else. And we couldn't find a good redemption for our points or a good Airbnb value in Los Angeles these 2 days. And I really uncovered a lot, and it just didn't work. And even if it did work, then they might have $40 a night in parking, which certainly doesn't make a lot of sense on a very frugal trip. So what we're doing instead is we're going to Temecula, like I said. We're flying into LAX, and we're going to rent a car that we reserved with Chase Ultimate Rewards points, so that wipes away that charge. And off we go to Temecula. Temecula, never heard of it before, but it is kind of the Napa Valley of Southern California. So let's see, it should be a nice place to visit, and we did get a really nice redemption at the Embassy Suites in Temecula with free parking. Our car is free. Our airfare is $80 total, which we wiped away with a Capital One card. So our trip is looking off to a good start.
Yep, Embassy Suites, by the way, is in the Hilton chain, and so we have quite a few Hilton points from various ways of earning them, and we tend to have a hard time spending them, so finding a good redemption on Hilton is always nice, because we're always looking for ways to spend all of our points, but Hilton in particular, we have a tough time spending, so it was nice to find a good redemption in a Hilton property.
Yeah, and also we signed up for the Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card, which gives us a priority pass, and that allows us into a lot of lounges around the world. And there's one in Denver that is a restaurant, and so we each get to spend $28 at a full-service restaurant. We could order beer, full menu, whatever. What is amazing, so what we haven't really really talked about is the lengths. Tim and I have a giant Achilles heel, and it is free food. So while we like to eat healthy, while we're trying to maintain, I'm trying to lose weight, Tim's probably maintaining his lean and mean, but we are ridiculous when it comes to samples at stores or free food. Like it's embarrassing. And so we had $56 to spend at this restaurant, and we spent 38, and we did not get dessert. Tim did not get beer, and we walked away. So we lived. So let's see how this goes. If leaving $20 on the table and the opportunity for dessert and free beer, let's see how this goes for the Rutherfords.
We did save a little bit on the tip, so obviously we have to tip when we eat at this restaurant, so we only spent $4 on tip. So if we had another $18 worth of beer and or desserts, we would have had to spend more money on that as well. So it was nice to just leave that money on the table.
And it wasn't like we did a healthy choice, unfortunately. We did have a cheese and fruit plate, heavy on the cheese to start, and so yeah, so it's not like we made a healthy choice.
There's a win in it for me as well, and that so not having beer today, Amy agreed to go with me to Ballast Point, which is a brewery in Temecula tonight, so I get to go have some good beer at Ballast Point tonight in Temecula.
Yeah, so that's us. We're getting ready to get on our plane in about a half hour, so we thought we'd just take a few minutes for a little video. Let us know what you think, and let us know if you've been to Temecula, if you have any wineries that we should visit, and we will be checking back in hopefully tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.